Hello, welcome back to our grade 9 maths lesson. I am Mrs. Rhea. Okay, in our last segment, we looked at the real number system. Now we are going to look at the BODMAS rule. Okay. BODMAS rule. What is BODMAS? Okay, that is an acronym. B for brackets, O for order of powers, D for division, M for multiplication, A for addition, and S for subtraction. Now, when do we use the BODMAS rule? Okay, we use the BODMAS rule when we are dealing with more than one operations, when we want to combine rational numbers. Now, it's going to be very interesting how we are going to use this in rational numbers. Now, let's start with an example. Okay, let's look at example 1. Okay, for example 1, we have 3 times 2 minus 16 divided by 4. Now, we have times, subtraction, and division. But if I am going to use any order to multiply, divide, and subtract these numbers, I am going to come up with so many different answers which will not make sense. Therefore, it is very, very important to come to this rule, which is the BODMAS rule. So, we have multiplication, division, and subtraction. Now, we are going to go by the order. We can multiply or divide working from left to right, and add or subtract working from left to right. So, multiplication and division can come in any order. Now, we have 3 times 2, which is 6. We leave the minus sign as it is because that will be the last operation that we are going to work with. And then we have 16 divided by 4, which is 4. Now, we work from left to right by adding or subtracting. 6 minus 4 is 2. So, we have 2 as our answer. Now, let's go to the next example. Okay? In our next example 2, we have 15 plus 3 times 2 minus 4 squared. Now, how am I going to work with these numbers which have more than one operations? In this case, we have a plus, a multiplication, and a subtraction, and now we also have a order of power. So, going back to our BODMAS rule, we are going to start with the order of powers first. So, we have 15 plus 3 times 2 minus 16. Then, we come back to the next one, which is multiplication. So, going back to our BODMAS rule here, we have 15 plus 3 times 2 is 6 minus 16. Now, finally, we have left with addition and subtraction. So, going back to our BODMAS rule, we now add and subtract working from left to right. So, 15 plus 4 is 21 minus 16. That leaves us with 5. So, from this, we can see that 5 is the answer to our question. Example number 2. Let's look at our final example, which is example 3. Okay, I'll put it on this side. For example 3, we have 5 plus 3 times bracket in bracket 15 minus 3 times 2. Now, in example number 3, we can see that we have brackets there. We have addition. Inside the bracket, we have subtraction and multiplication. Now, we are going to start with the brackets first. So, this will be equal to 5 plus 3 times 15 minus 3 times 2 is 6. That is equal to 5 plus 3 times 15 minus 6 is 9. Now, when we have a bracket, that means we are going to multiply. So, this one will be equal to 5 plus 3 times 9 is 27. Then we add the two numbers. So, we have 5 plus 27, which is 32. Now, our final answer is 32 when we refer to our BODMAS rule. So, that brings us to the end of our lesson on the BODMAS rule. In our next lesson, we are going to look at how to use rational numbers to find factors. And I know you are going to enjoy it. Thank you.